So we're going to take a look at an example of how we would use file input and output and actually write the code to do it. So I think a really good example is thinking about storing people's usernames and passwords. Okay, so every time you create an account on some website or whatever app you use, you create an account, you create a username and a password. Okay, that company on their servers has to store your username and your password. Okay, so that later on, when you open up an app and log in or open up a website again and want to run that program, you type in your username and password and they have to check to see does that match the stored username and password. So we're going to go ahead and create a couple really simple programs that will do this, and we're going to save the usernames and the passwords in a file so that when a person comes back a day later, 3 days later, a month later, whatever it may be, and they try to log in, they run a program to log in, we have that information stored in this file, and we can check it to see if their username and password are correct. So we're going to imagine we're going to create a couple little programs. One of them is going to be a program to create a new username and password. So pretend somebody's creating a brand new account. We're going to have another program over here that's like a login program where they type in their username and password, and we check to see if it's correct. So what this program is going to do is it's going to display something like this: new username, new password. Somebody's going to type in their username, and they're going to type in some password like this. And then what's going to happen is after they enter in their password, we're going to save that data, okay, or send that data to a file. So we're going to open some file. We'll call it something like accounts.txt. Okay, so we'll create this file called accounts.txt, and then we'll write whatever they typed into that file. Okay, so we can write it. We could write it a couple ways. We could put their username on one line, print it into one line, and then write their password on the next line. That would be fine. We could just put them side by side if we wanted to, but somehow we need to be able to keep track of where does the username end, where does the password begin. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to write the program so that it actually writes in this file that's stored on the hard drive. It's going to write something like this: Steve R, if that's my username, and then we're going to use some symbol to basically say this is the end of the password or the username and the start of the password, and we need to use some symbol that wouldn't be in a username or password. So I'm going to use this symbol that is on your keyboard, looks like a vertical bar. It's called a pipe symbol. Okay, that's we'll say that for at least for our application here, you can't use that in a username or a password. So that's a good symbol to say here's the end of the username and the beginning of the password. So I'm literally going to print into the file Steve R, then this character, and then whatever password was typed in. FOO. Now, some of you might be aware that it's really not the best idea to just store passwords in what's called plain text. It's much better to store an encrypted version of the password in case somebody ever got a hold of this file and hackers got a hold of this file. And that's very true, but we're not going to worry about that for now. We're just going to store a simple version of the password, and if we get time in this class, we'll talk about how you can actually use some methods to encrypt things and decrypt things. But for now, we're just going to make it simple. So we're literally going to take whatever the person typed in, store it into this file, and then this program will be done. And then the idea is that file sticks around. So even after we close it, turn off our computer, turn it back on, etc., etc., this is just a file. It's called accounts.txt, and it stores this information. We could open it up and look at it and see what's there. And then we'll run this program, write a separate program called the login program that has somebody now come in and we'll pretend that this is a real login program to a real system of some sort that you would log in to do whatever, log into Amazon, log into whatever. We're going to have somebody type in their username and password, and we're going to go check for the username that they entered, does the password match? So it's going to do something like this. If somebody comes in and types in their username, I want to log in, and then they type in their password like this, we're going to now write some code that does some functionality to go open this file, look through the file until we find a line that starts with this username, and then we're going to look at this word right here and see if it matches what they typed in. And if it does, we'll say, thank you, you're logged in. If it doesn't, we'll say, sorry, that was the wrong password. Okay? But the key here is that we're storing the information in a file, we're writing to the file, and then this program over here is reading from the file. Okay? So let's see, two more quick points. One, some of you are thinking possibly, or maybe you will when we run the program, well, wait a second, if we just store that information in a file on my computer. I can just go in and open that file and look at it and see what the username is for everybody. Okay, well, that's true. And this would actually, all of this functionality would be written for, if a company was doing this on their own, this program would be running on their server. So somebody would be accessing this, like, say, via a website or something like that, but the actual code that's running and the file that's getting stored would be on that company's server. So the person who's sitting at home logging in from their web browser or whatever would not have access to that file. Okay, the people in the company would, and that's part of the reason we'd want to encrypt the username. But this would not be on your own computer. Okay, this would be on a server somewhere. But we don't have the ability to do that yet, so we're just going to make, again, kind of a simple application on our own computer. And then one other thing I want to say before I continue on is, again, we brought up this concept of streams the other day, and this little line that I drew here basically represents this file output stream. Okay, it's a connection that we make between a running program and a particular file that says, again, you can kind of imagine this as almost like a little pipe or a little tube between the program and the file that's sitting out there on the hard drive, so kind of between the memory and the hard drive, where you can send all the characters that are typed in here one by one through this stream that are being written out to this file. And then this line over here on the right would be a file input stream, because after this program, after the person enters in their username and password to log in, this program is going to go out and read in all of this stuff that's stored in this file, all the usernames and passwords that are stored in this file. So again, imagine this is another little pipe kind of connecting the two, or a little tube, and it's streaming one by one all the little pieces, all the little characters or whatever stored in this file into the program, so the program can look at that information and check to see if the username and password is correct. Okay, so all of that is an introduction to the program we're going